Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Growth Diaries. My name is Caitlin, and today is sweet potato day. So we are finally digging up my sweet potatoes. So behind me, I have this, first of all, massive asparagus plant. So we got to work around him. But behind him is my entire sweet potato and my bean row. Um, it has taken over this whole space. Thistle has started to creep into this space, and so today I am taking it back. The sweet potato plants, so far, a good chunk of them are huge. So I'm really hoping I have some very nice sweet potatoes. I've grown sweet potatoes. I haven't grown a ton. I haven't had a massive amount of success, but I'm feeling like this year might have been the year that I have good success. So we're going to get in here and we're going to see what we can find. This asparagus plant we're going to work around. This is in our way, but we're just going to work around him because he needs to keep growing until next year. But let me bring you down and show you what exactly I'm working with first, what it looks like, and then we're just going to go ahead and get started. Whole big patch of thistle here. If you go up and over, all of this and those sunflowers need to come out. And then up on the trellis where currently there are morning glories, there are also a ton of beans. So I'm going to start first by just getting rid of all this thistle that's in my way, and then we're going to really get started. Oh my gosh. That's huge. That's actually far bigger than you wanted to get. Oh my goodness, look at these. Look at this. Look how awesome. That is, first plant is already better than I've ever had before. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. That one broke, but that's okay. Okay. This is great. This is fantastic. So some of them are breaking as I'm getting them out because they're so wound together, they're so big. And we'll can those right off the bat. The ones we don't break, we'll leave out to cure. My goodness. Like, I mean, he's actually super, he's actually far too big. You don't actually really want them to get this big, but my goodness. So we'll give him a good wash and then we'll probably can him or eat him this week. So we are 2 plants in, and I already got a good half a bucket of sweet potatoes. That is so exciting. I have never had this great of success. I can see one just already sitting right here on the top of this guy. Now this one has some bug damage. Again, we'll cut around that. We'll trim that up. We'll use that up. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And this one looks so deep. More down here. This one still is going. This one is so deep. This one was on the top of the ground, so an animal must have been gnawing at this one. I mean, I'll show you at the end how many potatoes we got. We got a whole big 5-gallon bucket that's overflowing, and we got a good sized box that is almost full. So easily the best sweet potato harvest I've ever had in my entire life. I'm bringing you guys along. Right now I'm just gonna go clean off my dining room table, and I'm gonna lay all this stuff that we're harvesting today out on the dining room table. It did pour last night. We had a very nice thunderstorm, which we really needed. And I didn't want to get all this stuff out the day after it rained, but we need rain, and thankfully they're calling for the next like 5 days. They're calling for rain. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just get them out before they get 5 more days of rain in them. I am a very filthy person, but that's okay. So we got the sweet potatoes out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out, and then later this week I'm going to go through them. Any that have any sort of damage, we're either going to eat immediately, or we're going to process and can. There is some old wives' tales that say you need to cure your sweet potatoes before you eat them, that if I were to eat one right now after it came out of the ground, it wouldn't be sweet enough. I don't believe that. I've eaten them right out of the ground, and I think they taste fine. but I'm gonna let them sit just for a little bit, just because I don't have enough time right now. I just got back into town yesterday from a week away, and I have a lot of catching up to do. So the priority actually was to get this stuff out of the ground today, and then we'll mess with that kind of stuff later this week. The ones that don't have any damage, I'm gonna try to save until Thanksgiving, because we do sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna try to have my own sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving, and then we'll just process any of the ones that got any sort of damage. We'll just process them and can them. You can turn them into sweet potato fries. I might do a lot of stuff because I have a lot. Turn them into some sweet potato fries for the freezer, maybe some shredded hash browns. We're gonna do, and I'll bring you guys along when we do that. But now I want to continue to kind of clear this row. Let me get out of the way so you can kind of see. It looks better, but we still have a lot of weeds going. And what's very annoying, I'll be completely honest, what's very annoying is I have sweet potato plants going this way, and then I have bean plants. Can't really see. I have bean plants that are going every which direction too, so they're all kind of getting wound into each other. So I'm trying to do a whole bunch of pulling, and I just want to get as much of this out of this garden as I possibly can today. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to harvest my beans. Now, a lot of my beans, the first section of beans are dry. They're ready to be harvested. It did rain last night, so I am going to spread these completely out on my dining room table on a towel and let these dry completely. And then even after I shell them, when I do open them up and shell them, I do let them dry for a couple of days before I pack them up, just to make sure that they're not getting moldy. But that's what I'm gonna do now before I go and whip all the bean plants off of this trellis. I want to get the beans off of it. I just dropped one. Okay, we're a couple hours later. I'm exhausted, but we got this whole space cleared out, and I'm gonna turn you around. We started working over here. Here I just have 3 pretty sad looking pepper plants, but they're still producing pepper, so I'm gonna leave them. And then we kind of went the whole way back, tore everything out that we could. I still have an okra here. You can see it from the morning glories growing on it, but I still have an okra that is producing okra. It has okra on it, but it's too far gone for me to eat, so I'm just leaving that to dry for seed. And then I still have my beans on here because my beans these beans aren't quite dry yet. So I have a couple different kinds of beans. I have that one, and I have that one, which is like a red and white. So I don't really know what kind I have. So when they dry, we will harvest them and see what we got. But I feel really good that I got this whole space cleared out. It looks a lot better already. Now what I'm gonna do is, on the way home from work tomorrow, it's closed today, or I'd probably do it today, but I'm gonna go pick up a couple bales of straw, and I'm gonna heavily lay some bales of straw on this space. And then for the most part, this space is gonna be kind of put to bed for winter. This is mainly a path that I walk on, and then along the fence is where I grow my vegetables. So I'm not going to do too much amending right now. When the beans come out and I move this trellis and put that space to bed at the end of fall, this is where my tomatoes are going to go next year, along this whole path here. Amend that bed with along the back of the fence when I put that to bed. But the pathway at least can become a pathway again. I also cleared out this space. There was a ton of thistle here. I pulled all of that out, and now you can actually see the pumpkins and the squash that are growing. I was able to harvest one butternut squash I didn't even know I had, and then I'll show you, I have another little one sneaking back there I didn't know I had. So let me show you what we found in this, what was a massive mess. First of all, can we talk about how pretty these zinnias are? These are California King, and I love how pretty they are. So back there you can see a little butternut squash growing. And then I did plant these. I'm happy to see they survived. This is feverfew. I don't know if that's a perennial or not, so we'll find out, but that is a medicinal herb. And then come over here. Look at the size of this pumpkin. Like, get out of the way. I mean, that is the biggest pumpkin I've ever grown in my entire life. Like, look at that. It's huge. I'm so excited for that pumpkin. I'm excited to see how big he gets. I have a couple more zinnias over in this space that I'm letting go. And then we picked a lot of the thistle that was kind of coming up in between these peppers. And I was able to harvest some peppers too. But then look at this tomato. So this is one cherry tomato that lives like right there. And then there's another one on the opposite side. But this orange one is really the one that is just growing this entire space. It's reaching over there. This is, I think, the world's biggest cherry tomato plant. I've never seen a plant that big. And I was able to harvest a good bucket full of cherry tomatoes. And so I've been eating a ton of caprese salads. But I will say, I think that's a summertime meal. And now that we're kind of into fall, and I'm in the fall mood, we're gonna switch to some different uses with those cherry tomatoes. So I have a new idea. Actually, it's not a new idea. I was told about it on TikTok. So I'm gonna make that this week. So I'll bring you guys along when I do that. But the biggest part that was really stressing me out, we got ripped out, we put to bed. I'm happy about that. The tomatoes are next, but the tomatoes are still producing for me. And I was 100% planning on ripping them out this week, and I'm not going to. I'm gonna leave them in there for a little while longer, just because they're still producing so much. I did harvest my first round of lettuce. I'm getting ready to go inside. I'm gonna get a shower, and then I'm gonna have a salad for my lunch. I harvested my potatoes. So I did a fall planting of potatoes, and it was not the normal harvest I expect. I think I overwatered these potatoes. I just saw an animal run through my garden. I'm gonna hope that was a chipmunk. Just caught out the corner of my eye. Anywho, I only got a handful of potatoes. They're new potatoes, which means they're the small ones. Totally fine with that. I'm happy with anything that I can get out of the garden. I still have a good amount left over from last year, so I still think I was able to grow my own year's worth supply, or my year's supply of potatoes. So I'm gonna get them kind of put away. And then here is my little butternut squash I harvested. I don't know what the coloring is up here, so he might turn into a fall side dish. I like to cure those and then eat those throughout winter. But because that discoloring up there, I think I'm going to eat him as a fall dish in the next week or two. And then, oh, and I have a whole bucket. We'll go upstairs, up to the house. I already carried some stuff up to the house. But I have a whole bucket of tomatoes. I have one little okra. And then I have a bucket of beans, or a box of beans. Not that many, but it's just a start. They're starting to come in. So I'm going to let what's on the fence go until the last possible minute, because they still have some drying they need to do. And then we'll harvest them and get them dried up. So let me take you up to the house, and I'll show you everything else. I'll show you the sweet potatoes, and I'll show you everything else we harvested. But the garden is slowly starting to come to an end, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with kind of reclaiming this space slowly but surely. I came out here probably around 9 a.m. today. It's about 11:30. So in 2.5 hours, I got a lot done, and I'm happy with what I got done. Tomorrow we'll see if it's not raining. We'll see about getting that straw and lay in that whole space with straw, which will make it look so much nicer. And that's how I put everything to bed. I'm just going to kind of cover all the pathways with straw, and that'll make it look nice going into winter. So let's go up to the house. I'll show you what I got up there. Okay, so back at the house, 5-gallon bucket overflowing of sweet potatoes, and then I have this box down here, just massive sweet potatoes. I need to make note of, I don't remember when I planted these guys. I think I planted them in early May, and it's middle of September. And I honestly wish I had harvested them a little bit sooner. I've never had a good sweet potato harvest, so they're a little bit big. But that's okay, they're gonna be delicious. Just next year I wanna make note to harvest them maybe a couple weeks ago so they don't get quite as big, but we're not complaining. So like I said, I'll bring you guys along when I mess with them. The ones that have damage will can. The rest will just cure for fresh eating. And then in this bucket, I have a whole bunch of peppers. My peppers are coming in. A whole bunch of jalapenos. And then at the bottom, I have a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes that we are going to make a nice meal, a TikTok meal together, and see how that is. And then back here in this box, I have some green beans, a couple more tomatoes I missed, potatoes, and some beans. So this was a very successful and a very dirty couple hours in the garden, but I'm happy that we got that done. That was my top priority today. So I'm gonna go get a shower and then have a quick lunch with that salad I picked, and then we'll start getting these guys laid out and get them kind of curing and make a pile of ones that we're just gonna cure and ones that we're gonna can, and we'll start messing with all this stuff. But I'll bring you guys along for the next step in this process. But thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, friends.